I don't know if you were listening before, how I looked at it. Church in Jamaica is part of our culture. It's our norm.
Yes.
And it brings some stability to
Hmm.
the people who are displaced,
Right.
to the kids. It look forward
Yes.
to going to church, and even the elderly people who, because of their age and the younger folks are not with them, they look forward to go meet their people similar in their age group, and they discuss and them sing and them
Only per
feel happy.
recreational thing go on there. So.
Exactly. And that's how I looked at it.
Uh-huh.
Not every church will be able to build back. Some of them can afford it.
Don't hang up. Don't hang up.
Mhm.
Sit down, Tony. No, I don't have any vehicle that far out. I don't have any. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Yes, sorry about that. I'm
So
dispatching
that's
from a
okay.
company too. Uh,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So so that's how I, and as he rightly said, he's gonna bring in the assessors.
Right, right, right,
And
right.
based on the assessment, you will get money. Now, if it's somebody said it's around 500 churches,
Uh-huh.
and if you were, and it's 75 million, if you were divided the 500 churches by that, you get an average of $150,000 per church, technically.
Right, and that's what I was saying, that the money is not even that significant
No,
to
exactly.
no, compared to the damage that they have.
Some of them. And
Yeah.
that's why he said it's going to be a need assess.
Right, right, right,
But he should be also, which is right for need assess, because some of those churches are insured.
right,
And if
right, right,
your church is insured, then you should claim through the insurance, not from the government,
right, right,
to
right.
get additional money. But you have some small churches that are coming. And by the way, I'm talking churches who are licensed with the
Hmm.
Jamaican Church Association, not those fly by night church.
Right, right, right,
We
right.
just put up something. No, you give it to. This is how you help your country. You help as a government. You're
Mm.
not supposed to reward bad behavior.
No,
So
no, no.
a church come up and just put up a church and say, "Ma preach." He man not licensed pastor or anything. He just start preach.
Right,
So
right,
how
right.
is it you're going to give that man? Why is it you should give him? If you want to have a church, fine, but do the proper thing. Go through the proper channel.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying if it's a legitimate church, if it's a legit church, then then that would have all that assessment would be made and see if they're qualified for the grant.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, overall,
And I know,
I don't have a problem with the grant. I think it's necessary, considering the church is definitely a part of our culture.
correct.
It's a part of our daily routine for most
Exactly.
of us. I can't see what the problem is. And like I was saying earlier, is that there are bars and of course nightclubs that received their grant last week. You
Yes,
know,
exactly.
so what is the problem with the church? One person said, "Oh well, the church is not paying tax." I think the
It has
church.
nothing to do with that.
I have nothing to do with that.
Absolutely nothing. And people are gonna say, well, you separate the church from the politics of the church. Number one, that is what you call it, a flaw we have been fed.
Hmm.
We've been fed a flaw when you say that. Because you cannot separate the church
No.
from the politics, because the congregations also, who are citizens of the country, who also vote. So
Right.
you're gonna have discussion. That's number one. Number two, the Bible talks about it, to say members or people should choose a leader that they feel that is good enough to serve them.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So I don't know how people. The only reason why I said that it's a flaw is because it only benefits the church. Number
Hmm.
one, when the church don't pay taxes,
Hmm.
that means it's not an association. They can collect any money. You get
Right.
what I mean? So when they say that church, so they're protected to say the government won't come and audit my books
Audit the books, right?
to
Right.
see how the money is being spent. So
Right.
it benefits the church because they can get away with so much stuff. And that's why they don't push to get rid of that concept of, separate the church from the church, separate the government from the church or politics from the church.
Right. Right.
They are
Right.
both intertwined in each other. And it will always be that. The pastor himself go out there and vote. The congregation go out there and vote. They do discuss it. Pastor try to swing, even in America. Remember the black churches, them on a Sunday,
Uh-huh.
they would gather their congregation after service and they go out and vote,
Yeah.
right? The church buses take them during the last election. The church buses would take them to their precinct where they're voting or the polling station, and they
But
would vote.
and for the most part, the church had played an immense role in communities as well.
They have.
Church had played, had schools. Some of those churches have schools.
Exactly.
Uh,
Sunday school, a
mm-hmm.
nursery,
Yeah.
daycare center for kids, a drop-in center for youth.
Yeah.
So it plays.
It plays this part.
It does.
And for support for community members in various ways. The church has been playing their role.
Exactly.
There is no way, and I am not going to get into, like, one person was talking about religion, not on your program, but on that
Mm.
program that you were on, about measuring different religion and whatever. I am not even
Ah,
going there. What I am focusing on is the purpose and their involvement, their contribution to the community, and even the fact that it is a more like a cultural thing. I think
mhm.
the government responsibility is to take
Of
our
course.
nation back, as close as possible to normalcy, as I said, and so
Exactly.
this is a part of the process. This is a part of
When
it.
I was when I was growing up as a little girl, and they don't have it much. Well, they don't have it anymore. That was in the what, the 80s, 90s,
Hmm.
and I remember I used to look forward to Easter
Hmm.
because we used to get. Remember those shoes boxes?
Uh-huh.
We used to get those shoes boxes, and we call them tissue paper. Those soft colored tissue paper.
Uh-huh.
We used to cut them in string, in strips. So what we do now, we make a handle out of the cover and put it over the basket. And
Right.
then we decorate it with the whether it's a pink or a yellow or a combination of different color, and use glue and glue it on. And then we fill it with fruits. So whatever fruits you have, whether it's what we were stupid, I'll tell you why I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Nesberry, the best Nesberry, whether it's tangerine,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's orange, the best Gros Michel or Lacatan,
The
the
Lakatan,
best soursop,
yeah.
you know, and you bring it to church and anybody has the best dress basket. And as a kid growing up, I used to love that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to look forward. Now, why I said we were stupid is because we grandparents look for the best thing for pastor and your wife. And pastor and your wife, and we so damn fool used to carry the best one, go give pastor, put on this for pastor and his wife. Pastor not even they care about us. I'll never do that again.
You see, and that's what I was saying. I don't care for what the church becomes. I don't like the direction that the church is now, but
Exactly.
I'm still hopeful that there might be a
Correct.
turnaround, and so I still have to feed into the church's contribution, or the possible contribution to our
And it's not
communities.
all of them. To be honest with you, I
No,
have
no,
known
no.
churches that
Yeah,
help their community.
of course,
They're not only there to enrich themselves, but they help. So I totally agree with the Prime Minister.
the prime
And put it
minister.
this way, he's the Prime Minister. Whether
Yeah,
we like it or not, we elected him to lead us.
I,
And
I,
based on what he's doing,
yeah.
you
Go
know,
ahead. Yeah,
yeah, based on that, and not every decision he's made is gonna be perfect or is gonna be
no,
favorable for everybody. But he's not a perfect man. Maybe later on he might come back and say, you know what, man, we shouldn't have given them the money because of whatever, whatever, whatever. I
Right.
made a mistake. Maybe, but that's part of being a leader.
Yeah. I mean, he have a responsibility, and I honestly think he's doing his part. He's playing his part. He's
Yes, he is
trying to bring up the community, and
trying to balance.
trying
Trying
to
to
balance.
balance. Yes.
One person was talking about you know talking about political church's political involvement, or the church's political affiliation, and I think that, to me, that don't make any sense. The church a political affiliation has nothing to do with anything.
And exactly, you have a right to choose who you want to choose to be, whether it's PNP or JLP.
Yes.
What I don't like about some of them is the blatant lies that a pastor who tell for the other person in favor of the other person. No, I think that's wrong. But you have a right to choose who you want,
Yeah. And
just because you're just a citizen like everybody else who has a right, a constitutional right to vote and vote for whoever you choose.
however you choose, and that's one other thing that I like about this prime minister, is that he sees Jamaican people. He don't see Labour or PNP.
Correct.
You
And
know,
lots of people have a hard time believing that, as a matter of fact. Exactly the
actually,
point.
I was passing through a live today. To me, it was very painful to listen to. But
Mhm.
they were talking about how much the PM hate Jamaicans.
Oh Lord, Jay.
He said the
Oh, Lord.
man hate Jamaican, and so they were talking, but it's just crazy some of the times when you sit down and listen to some of these people. Jay, mute. You want something I make nice, you know. Jay, okay,
Mute her then. Mhm.
yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
she's stopped. Yeah, so people have their different views, but I like to hear views that make sense. Is the
correct.
census views that bothers me. People are saying things that you just wonder what what level of exposure that they have. I would even said I wouldn't talk about their the academics. What level of exposure would they have to see things the way they are seeing it? I even went to a live today. I was passing. I was home for a bit, and I was scrolling, and I heard somebody said, if people don't realize that the prime minister had the remote for the hurricane.
Oh Lord, have his mercy. Did you stop there? Because
I
if you journal like that, people think that this man is an idiot to be up there with
I
those people.
I cut immediately. I cut immediately. I leave.
But that's what I'm saying. If you
So
were to stay and listen to that person in that box or be part of that conversation, people would say, but everybody over there is an idiot. How can you let somebody come and tell you that the prime minister has a remote to the hurricane? I don't understand.
but it was
No,
so
those are the people you don't fight with.
right. Those are the people you don't have a conversation with.
Don't have a conversation with. You
Yes.
don't. And there is nothing absolutely you can do to convince them.
No, no, no.
Absolutely
I just
nothing.
hear the fact that what I am seeing right now is that we're more politically divided than in the general election. That's what
We are.
I don't like, because I mean, we have people that need help, but yet still we are out here playing politics with everything that is happening in
Mm-hmm.
the space. And I'm thinking, you know this is just not the time for that. We should be focusing on and helping our people, building our country,
Yeah,
uniting
exactly.
our country, because those are the positive things that we should be looking towards. apparently it's not many people see things through the lens that I'm looking through. So I can't I just can't. Well, we have I think we should move past the whole political divide and focus on what is better for the country and for the people that are feeling that are going through that is going through the trauma of this
But
hurricane.
what I don't like also in terms of the people who are affected by the hurricane. Number one, yes, it's a trauma, but when do you say you're gonna pull up your bootstrap now, get out of that traumatized mode and start looking ahead? Because people sitting down just waiting for the government. And I think, some effort on your part also would be
Almost
helpful to
definitely.
see what you can do. And we're not doing, some people are not doing that.
No,
Some people
no.
are just waiting.
Uh,
And this rush to hand out money, 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 money.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just 8 weeks since we have the hurricane.
Right.
8 weeks. October 28th or December 28th. Eight,
Yeah.
2 months.
2 months. I mean, and such a devastated.
Exactly.
I just think that the expectation from many to me it is too high. People are
Exactly.
expecting like somewhere close to a full recovery. They're expecting
People are
people,
demanding.
yeah,
Exactly.
they're expecting people to have back their roofs and all of that, when there are things that has to be and have back their houses, you know.
And
Uh,
and they, and what kind of house too? Because some of they're demanding wall house. I don't want any more board house. I want a wall house now. My government have to build me a wall. Where in the world can a government, if you have over what 270,000 people they say got affected by the hurricane, approximately.
mhm.
How must the government build back 270,000 houses? Where must you get the money from?
And even if they're going to be assisting, all these land space and everything has to be sorted out, and everything take
And that is where the tangle web is. That
mm,
is where the tangle web is, the land situation.
hmm,
Because as we rightly said before, we talk about it where we said some of the lands them down there that are leased, maybe the people don't want them back on the land.
right,
They're saying, time to get rid of, I was trying that. People who were also capture people and was saying, no, now that you run off, you can't come back. Absolutely can't come back.
right,
So where is the government gonna put those people? Where are they? And not only that, you have another set of people now who the government said we're gonna relocate you. Oh, you wanna put us in the bush, you wanna put us in the back burner. We don't wanna go there.
right. So people are demanding, and one of the first thing that they should look at is that a house is their responsibility. They should be having
Thank you.
insurance and all that. The government, and from what I know, is that the government have obligation
Absolutely.
no
Absolutely.
obligation at all
None.
to replace anybody's house. What
None.
he can do is create
To
the
help.
shelter. He could, I
Exactly. Exactly.
I would not, I would even understand today if the government said, look here, I am not giving nobody no house and I'm gonna build some shelter for shelter on until no can
Correct.
find nowhere. That to me would have
Temporary
made,
structure.
yeah, that to me would have
Exactly.
make more sense. One would have said, well, I'm cool, but you did not insure your place.
And
My
that's what the
where
woman was telling me I have no empathy. She said, you have no, absolutely no empathy.
uh,
Because I am not talking the finesse, because I believe that people should work.
yeah,
If you are an able-bodied person,
yes,
absolutely nothing wrong with you, then why you refuse to work? Why you refuse to work? And then I have to know, say, oh yes, take my tax-paying money and give it to you?
right.
No. Uh,
No, I think
mm-mm.
people should work, and that's part of the thing that I sort of like. about, and again, I
Andrew,
don't, I, people should work. It's not an handout government, as
it is not.
no, no,
No government supposed to be a handout. You should work. The government is there to make sure that work are there for you to help you get on your feet if you fall over.
hmm
But in terms of living off the government, no, it should not. It should not be.
it should
It
not
should not.
be, and
It
and
should not be.
but I guess I try to engage people in conversation because I'm trying to find out where they're shaping their narrative from, and it just I'm not getting nowhere. Just trying to understand. So what I do mostly is just when I realize that you know these people are they're just talking from emotions, I withdraw myself from these conversations because it's not making no sense. It's not an
No.
emotion or a sympathetic thing. That's just not how it works. It's not emotion or
There,
sympathy.
there's, I,
Go
it is
ahead.
my belief, though, that there's a deeper issue at hand. I think that the whole the whole culture needs a shift in morality, in work ethic, because something
Mentality.
happened somewhere along the way in Jamaica where these people are feeling very entitled, and them already eye for people who are successful, and but yet they don't want to do anything about it. I think something created that culture and it needs to be unraveled.
It's not something
One
created,
hundred
Mike.
percent. Uh,
It's not something created.
So
I
what
can
what
tell you
what in
who
your
created it.
opinion then happens?
I
Because
can tell you who created that. It's going to come back down to politics. It's the Honorable Michael Manley. That's where it came from.
no, because
If
well,
you remember this program, it started back in the what 70s or 70s, late 80s, where you remember this program they call Crash
Crash
Program?
program. I know that's what you
Cash.
were gonna say. Yeah,
Exactly. What is well, we say crash, but it's cash.
cash program. Yeah, right.
Right. What is Crash Program?
I don't know what it was. I was young.
Crash Program where it was for people to go and to do something there, clean the roadside and
Yes.
pick up garbage and beautification and so forth.
Uh-huh.
But what was happening? Nobody was doing anything. So all they do
Just
is
get
to
paid.
sit on the roadside. Exactly. And then now Friday morning, you see all of them down at Parish Council building waiting for their check.
ma'am, that's just one demographic. We're talking about the entire island now.
Correct.
All the youth. Let me finish. All of the youth, mainly in the rural areas, no one is ambitious for nothing. Is it that there are no examples? Because growing up as a little girl, I looked up to women like Ellington. Like there were people to aspire to. What I'm saying is it's a much deeper issue than just the government. It is a total cultural shift, and it's a little bit, you know it's sort of a whole um country, an entire nation that is just entitled
Uh,
and expected, and that was created. I'm trying to find the root of this, and I think, speaking of handouts, um where did that begin?
But
But
that's
were
what
we
I said to
expecting?
you.
I mean, are we educating our kids? Like, what is going on? What is the root cause of all of this?
But that's what I'm
Is it
saying,
that
ma'am.
there's no one else to look up to anymore,
No,
to
it's not.
aspire
So
to? What is going on,
all right. So let me say this.
or what has gone on?
All right. So let me say this. I would have shared Marcia G's sentiment and said that was the beginning of one segment of it. There are other layers that has been added, such as some of the things that you're talking about, where people don't feel that they should not work anymore, but they should they should get the same. I don't know if that's where that's where it all came from, but I know that was an entry in that. I remember my father used to talk about parish council of three boom, but then you have 100 employees to use three boom, you know, and it was okay. Everybody was getting paid, so that was a part of it. But right now, I think it actually get worse. There,
Well, not only that
it get
too.
worse, but I don't. So I don't think it all start there. There's some things that is added, and
I think culturally,
mhm.
even people who entertain us, I think they've replaced a lot of the ideals that Jamaica really stood on when I grew up there. For people to be putting some sort. I mean, imagine growing up, we weren't even allowed to listen to Bob Marley, who now is revered to be who he truly is. But there are these fly-by-night people who people are aspiring to be that. People are aspiring to being Vibes Cartel. And what is his message? What's the message? And the government allows this instead of censoring this person. I think it's a cultural breakdown, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
Quite frankly,
I think there is indeed a cultural breakdown because I don't know if I told you guys, but I am with a group of people now that we're trying to get some of the get people uh, in the diaspora to employ uh, people to work to give them remote jobs. And one of the discussion is that the work ethic that is extremely poor in Jamaica, and I think that is I have proven it to be true that the work ethic in Jamaica is really poor. So I don't. I know some of the problems start from when Marcia is talking, but I don't think it's it entirely
No, no.
came from there. There has
But
been some shift there.
I was gonna continue in
Okay.
that part to say. So that was the starting of it, right? Also, remember, Michael Manley came with the mantra of, if you have two houses, you should share with your neighbor. The communist um, doctrine, where you have to share with your neighbor. And this is where Westmoreland came in and part of St. Elizabeth, where people would go down there and take the land and just live on it according to Michael Manley. So they live on the land instead of him giving them, sort it out and give them title to the land. It was not given to them. And now people are saying, well, this is my land, even though I wasn't living here and my grandfather passed it down. So the entitlement of the land now compound, right? That then we now have fast forward, of course, we do have the DJs and and to be honest with you, I don't think anybody should be censored for their music, because just like in North America, you have some very, telling songs that are very, very suggestible and very violent in nature. And I totally believe in terms of putting caution on them. They don't play on the local radio. Also, they don't play on the local radio. So if you allow your kids to go to bars and so forth, or be a party with adults at a certain time of night, then you're going to get that in the kids then. So we have that part of it. I think that part of it caused the breakdown with respect to women in our society, because of how women were targeted, or the body, the anatomy of women were targeted, and even to this day, still being targeted, right?
Right.
And then now we have social media that is teaching people to say, you don't have to work, just come on social media and beg. Beg.
you
And
know
all
what is
over the
so
world.
funny about this whole social media and begging thing? You know, the Jamaican community. I've been around on this app, and people are making a lot of money on this app, more than the beggars. And the Jamaican community is the only community that's on here begging people for their money. Everybody else show up and they offer a value. And
No, not true. Not true. I've
Well,
seen. No.
Well,
Everybody
that's
begs.
okay. Let me just say that I've encountered.
I've seen. I've seen other people begging. And if you don't, the reason why we see most of our stuff in our Western is because we understand the language and we follow this person who speak English and they do this and they do that. So it's a chain reaction, right?
Right.
But you have other countries doing the same thing. Their country begging and verbally abusive if you don't give them what they're asking you for. So they are now, even the younger kids, they are now putting social media begging mentality, or even they have a live like something like this, just spewing nonsense and think that they will make $1 million instead of putting their education above. How long can we sustain this? This phenomenon of begging and this phenomenon of making money off TikTok or whatever. How long can we sustain it? Because it doesn't matter what we do in this life, education will always trumps. It doesn't matter what we do. For me, education, we can go around from 1852 or 1800 or the 17 or 1600, it comes back to education. And that's what we're not prepared to do with some of these young people. They don't want to work because of the easy lifestyle.
That's part of what she was saying earlier too. Is if there's a breakdown in education, it's hard to say, but we can talk all night and see many layers that would have contributed to the culture. But I do agree with Jay that we need a cultural shake-up because it is not looking good. It is not looking good. I went to Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I have since the hurricane, they took down my heater down there, took it off the roof, and I am trying to get it to put back 2 weeks after the hurricane, or less than a week, less than 2 weeks after the hurricane, and until now, everybody are gonna do it, but nobody now do it. You know that meant, and they expect you to understand. Just cool, I know, like a day year and all of the crap that they talk, but yet still for Christmas they are the same one begging you something,
My thing is,
and you're gonna pay them to do it.
there's a there has been a breakdown of standards, and it seems as though instead of pushing back, everyone just falls in line, and there are no standards. You can go to Jamaica and hire somebody to do a job for you, and then take half your money, and they don't ever come back after the first day, and
it is
there's
understood,
nothing you can do about it, or
and it is
nothing is
understood.
done about it.
It is
I'm going to give
understood.
you a story.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to give you a story when
Mhm.
you talk about standard. And we consumer have a lot to be blamed too. We have a lot to be
But
blamed
that was
with
my point.
these
'Cause we
standards.
we
Yes,
accept it. We
we
accept
accept
it.
and we take part in it. Now, hear the story. When you go to Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go to, we call them Mr. Chin or Chinaman shop,
Mm-hmm.
you get a bottle of rum, or let's say a bottle of rum cream. You
Mm-hmm.
get a bottle of rum. He sells it for how much money? Maybe 2,500 Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to one of those established supermarket, and you might say spend what, $3,000. So an extra 500 you pay, right?
Right.
Somebody gave me, when I was there the last time, somebody gave me a liter of rum cream as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it home. That was in March when I was there, March of this year, or February. I left February. And would you believe, in this summer, I took out the bottle of rum cream, said I'm going to have some. And it spoiled.
What?
It curdled, exactly. It curdled.
Yeah, because the Chinese are making anything the Chinese.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
That
Are
is
you
why
serious?
Because, yes,
Let-
and the white rum too. The white rum.
Mm.
So because of
rum
you
can
said,
spoil. Of course, man, must rum can.
I can if I can show you the
Yeah,
bottle
man.
right
Yeah,
now,
man.
I
Yeah,
can
man.
prove it.
Yeah. I see that.
But after how long though?
No,
I
no.
said
Number
that's-
one, let me tell you something. If you chew a spoon of water and a drink of rum, it's spoiling. I mean, if it's still for too long. And so what they were doing, they were draining the rum and dilute, what you call it,
dilute it.
diluting the
Ah.
rum.
Correct. Make it weaker. So instead of one bottle of rum, a whole bottle of rum, they get 2 bottles out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get the rum now, it has no strength in it. It's no good. So because my friend or whatever, some of us, we say 50 cents or $1 or $2, we prefer pay it from the Chinaman. But yet still the flour is packed up with weevil. The sanitary condition in the store is no good because the flour and the soap all smell and taste alike. And we accept it. And that's why I said we as the consumer also play part in it. Because instead of going to the man who is licensed to do our job, we get a cobbler or a shoemaker to come and fix your pipe for you.
Right,
But
exactly.
I blame the government for not regulating. Though the Chinese should be the most regulated business owner in every population.
They are.
Why
They,
the
they
fuck
have
are
a
they
they
allowed
have
to
a
do
legal
this?
shop. They
It's
have
incredible. The perks that they get to open these shops at the price that they get to do it. It's incredible. And they're not Jamaican citizens, and the Jamaicans can't get the same perks.
Yes, they do
who
get.
are-
They do get. They do get.
Oh, do they? So
Yes.
why isn't no one taking advantage of these perks?
They do. Again, this is how, because again, we think selfish in ourselves sometimes. What we do, if you go, I'm
we
gonna
don't
give you
think
an
enough of
example.
ourselves. That is what exactly what it is.
Pardon me?
I said we don't think enough of ourselves.
No, not enough ourselves. What we do, well, this is what from my opinion of when I say selfish. You go to, let's say the street, Macatic Street. I'm just naming a random street here, right? You have a community called Macatic Street, a whole street. And on that street, you have around 5 different shops, little corner shops, all selling similar items, right? All of them similar items. Now, how much money can you make with 5 of you in that small circle?
Not much.
Selling the same, not much. What the Chinaman they're doing is they put together and they open a superstore or a supermarket. And they combine all of their, their investment and buy in bulk. And at the end of the day, they share the profit. We don't do that.
No, we're
So,
not united. We're not united.
That's why I say we're selfish. So instead of having one shop,
guess what? You cannot blame us. We were colonized to be that way. And this is what is screwing us generations. It is a generational curse. It served us back then, but it's no longer serving us.
we I totally understand.
To one up each other.
I totally understand because it came from slavery when we were in the hull of the ship, and to every man for themselves.
It's
because
the biggest trick that they pulled on us. That and the church.
It's when you were in the hull of the ship, or the slave were our ancestors were in the hull of the ship, right? It's every man for themselves. If there is one, because they would never give enough food, there was never enough space, there was never enough. So everybody is fighting to get out of it.
There's that.
And because of that fightness, not only that, when we come to land now and we were sold to the slave masters, right? We now fight to go into the house. That's what you call some people the field slave and the house slave. I'm echoing.
There's all of the dualities. The dualities are there, and the dualities are what screwed us up, because you're either up here or you're down there, and we still carry that. We do it with, if you're lighter skin, it means you're more likely to be interviewed or to get the position or to be friends with my kids, right? Just based on that alone, right?
Can I give you a joke? Can I give you a joke with that? I made a joke about it today, but it's not a joke. When I looked at somebody, I'm not sure if it was you, Doc, who had the Mark Golden picture.
No, it wasn't.
And the Mark Golden picture and the guy there, the Hugh Krosky guy that they know being held for alleged fraud with Usain Bolt. So
Mhm.
they put up those two pictures, and behind both of them, you had Bolt. And I
Mhm.
said to myself, wow, look at it. Here you have a white man who came in, somebody convinced him to go invest with this white man.
Mhm.
Somebody convinced him. If it was a black man, you'll say, no, they trust the white man more. And look who robbed him.
And we're taught to do that from as you said.
Look
Nobody
who
broke
robbed
the
him.
cycle.
The
And we're
same
paying for it now
white
still.
man.
We're still in
The
slavery.
same white man. I'm not gonna go to say that we're in slavery still. Well, mentally enslaved, emancipate,
Well,
not all of us. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That, as you rightly said, that the skin color counts a lot. But when, as we, our people, gonna start shift from that mindset instead of thinking of an individual, because yes, you can succeed as an individual. But if, let's say, two or three people were to put together, you do it faster.
Right,
them,
right.
every other race does that. Them come here with nothing and them pull together, open one little shop.
Exactly.
The Arabs do it. I mean, everyone does
And
it.
we
Man.
still in the
We
corner
still
bar.
compete with each other to
We
see
still
who's
they
going to get
compete.
there first.
And not only say we compete, we pull them down too, because now the next man come up and I trust. You know, one buy him got the Chinese man, you know, and the Chinese man selling me goods and him buy it. But for him, look a black brother, we have the same shop where the Chinese man I sell the goods. Him I can't trust.
Yeah, when you ready, when you have him, when you not no money, you gotta trust.
He good ever trust, and he's spending money at Chinese man shop
But
when he
in
have
New
the
York,
money.
you know, the Arabs do that too. In the communities, like at these corner stores,
Yes.
they
have a
build
book.
community. So if someone comes in and them don't have the money, the shop owner knows that it's the most convenient store to where in the proximity of where this person lives. So they're always going to be in that store. So they let them go with it. And
As a matter of
people-
fact, you know who do it successfully too? The Jews. The Jews, when a Jews come from another country, come to, let's say, the United States, and they want to start a business, they don't normally go to banks, you know, they go to one of those rich one there and they pitch their ideas to them. Another one bring him there and they pitch the idea what they want to do. And he will look at it and say, okay, we're gonna finance it for you. You're gonna give us back our money. And they do it. They say yes, and they finance it. The business is successful. They help them and they pay back the money. In our case, we don't do that. We disappear immediately and I might want to unalive you too.
Yeah, yep.
And get jealous of your idea. Them see you're rich already and already them jealous and you make the money. And that is my point. Like I think and I'm very
Classism, though,
serious.
we always have this classism a part of our culture. Do you
But
think?
that's exactly what we're talking about. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Right. So the classism mentality is what spill over into all this. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. This is why you see when Usain Bolt bought his house up, you know, the era where he was neighbor to Sean Paul. And Sean Paul's wife, who was nobody, who got her status through Sean Paul, not of her own, not of her own, but got it through him because of who he is.
Right.
Was able to look at him and tell him, say, with all the night she should eat, she doesn't know why he doesn't go back where it came from.
Wow.
It was a big thing a couple of years ago when she was complaining about the partying and the noise, which she has a fair point there. But you don't tell somebody, why don't you go back where you come from, wherever you come from? Why don't you go back there? In other words, you're not good to live here. No, this is a woman, you know. This is a woman where God's status.
But
God's status
probably
from
because
him.
it's darker skin or something of that sort.
No, she is no man, she is because of the skin complexion. That's why Sean Paul, you know, is mixed all white, black, but mostly white. She is some form of, I think it's either Italian or Brazilian or Hispanic, one of those race there. So, but again,
and she come all the way to Jamaica to tell somebody who's from there to go back where them go.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is it with Jamaicans. We accept everyone without any
Thank you.
without any vetting.
We're like
No,
kids.
we just give ourselves and just
We're
give so much of
we're like
ourselves.
kids. You notice babies just run around and hug people and laugh with them.
I mean, it's beautiful, but it's a detriment to us, bro.
It is.
It's wow.
Look here. Listen to me. Sorry. Listen to me. Come on for the people them live. Come on for the people them live.
Psalm 35, verse 8.
Psalms. Come on for the people them live. You think no one nobody can TikTok come turn on and beat me up and cuss me out?
Max, if you're not, come on bed. Yeah.
Oh Lord of His mercy.
Yeah, man. It's a sad situation. We
It
have
is,
some we have
and
some
we need
cultural
to-
issues that need to iron out.
Yeah, so back to that rum story, as I was saying before. So I would never buy if I go to I'm more trust to go to Mega Mart or Progressive, or if I don't actually, I now buy them at the airport, because when you purchase them at the airport, you get to carry them onto the flight. So you don't have to put them in your hand luggage, your bag. So you get that extra room to wiggle until when you get to your destination. If you're changing flight, then you have to make sure you stuck it in your suitcase. But I start buying it, and it's curdle. I could not believe it. I could not. And the bottle is sealed. And as a matter of
Wow.
fact, what I noticed also, the label started to turn black
Jesus.
Yeah,
because
the dye is running now.
because there's not enough alcohol to keep it.
Oh my
So
god.
because of an extra $50, we prefer go support them and detriment to ourselves.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. I live right near Chinatown and I don't even buy food in Chinatown. Like if I'm hungry and I don't feel like making food, I rather go into Brooklyn, just cross the bridge.
Number one, what I noticed with them, you'd never see a Chinaman in a black man restaurant. I don't care. You go there and look. You notice it. I don't see any Chinaman in any go in there to sit down and say, I'm going to buy a plate of food, support them. Hell no. Hell no. So I do the same thing. They come into the communities, the black communities, they make their money and then they spend it in their neighborhood. They don't spend it in the black communities.
Yeah, they don't integrate themselves.
No, they don't.
Do the kids even go to school? When I was growing up, the Chinese kids used to be in school with us.
As a matter of fact, in Jamaica, they go to these elite. They go to Mortal Verna Prep, Vast Prep, Holy, all of those prep schools. They don't go to the local schools then. They are an elitist because and they spend their money in their communities, not outside. They support their community. With us, we're taught to take it outside of our community. Don't spend, and that's why we have so much problem in our communities, because we don't invest in it. Same with the I was just reading that this young athlete, I think he's a basketball player, and he's giving his wife $15,000, his ex-wife or girlfriend, they have a child together. And he's paying, of course, she's of the corporate skin color. He's paying her $15,000 a month for child support. And she says she's going back to the court because that is not enough.
Whoa.
She wants 65,000. She wants 65,000 a month.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying that if you had stayed in your little black people culture, even though some of us are terrible, but
Wow.
we'd be more than happy. But
Something have to change though. In spite of I know
yes,
we are
We do.
going in a positive direction, but there's some cultural issues that going to delay the direction that Jamaica is.
Yeah, because resources alone will not fix the problem if the people aren't energetically ready to receive it.
And
You know what
funny
I
thing about it, the more we try to unravel and do better in the country, the more you see all of these,
Yeah, because the space is polluted.
yeah, the more you see exactly the pollution. But you know what? I may call me whatever. If we can change our murder rate from 1,000 to 460.
Well, we can start with the next generation. We need to start teaching mindfulness in the schools at an elementary level, so that kids grow up with some kind of self awareness, and not fall for anything like Vibes Cartel. I look up to him and all these things. Like you have to add value to your life. I mean, rather than to grow up and want to just kill people
And this is where you see now our own
for a
music.
penny.
Our own music is being watered down because anybody can just go up there and sing about a woman's anatomy, and immediately he becomes a sensation, a musician.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes this, just go and sing about a woman anatomy. The song nowadays, they have no meaning to them. It's just the rhythm, it's just the bass, a nice catchy rhythm of it. And your people go crazy for it. And because
Kids need to be inspired.
that exactly,
You know,
it inspired them to go.
you can't rely on the school alone to do it.
No, you can't. You
it really
can't.
takes a
And,
village.
and another problem we're having too is as the younger folks started having babies, the grandmothers who used to be, remember grandmother used to be in their 60s,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And they would prefer to stay home, 60s and 70s. They stay home and look after the grandkids them. These grandma telling you, no, 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 they're in their 30s. They say, no, 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 I have my life to live. Go look after your kids. They are in the bars.
Yeah.
They said, no, no, no. So you don't have that host, that teaches the kids them about, whether we believe in God or whether we believe in about these morals and these little old time saying and
There's nothing being taught to the kids.
nothing being taught to them
But
more
what
than
is it?
these,
When kids have no direction, them grasp at anything to
these
fill the time.
these video games and these
Kids don't play outside anymore in Jamaica. Wow.
play.
Kids, no, see kids up the outside. No.
The scratches and scrapes I used to have on my chin. As I was
Listen to me.
little.
Remember first time a school give holiday. Your parents pack your pass and you got country.
Yeah.
You spend the whole 2 months down there.
I'm from country, so
And you run well. If you live a country, you come at home. And you run wild.
we used to. It was standard in my time for a holiday for kids to get sent away. Where country to country, country to town, town to country. It was standard because I used to go to Clarendon for holidays, so I know that was part of the culture.
Sutherland, can I join you if I go live?
I don't know how that works. If it's possible, if it's possible, I don't know.
I have a new guest in the box.
All things
Good
beautiful.
night.
Good night. How you doing?
Good night, ladies. Good night,
Good night.
gentlemen.
So we're
Yeah.
talking about some cultural issues that we have. There's many the cultural breakdown within our culture, within our country. People has been
Yeah.
morals gone,
Yeah.
work
Standards.
ethics, and the ambition is from it's just to get rich now. Nobody wants to
Yeah. And
follow the
as,
process.
as Marcia was saying,
Mm-hmm.
about music, I think that is a lot of where our stuff has broken
Our
down.
values.
I remember clearly both Yellowman and Shaba spoke of their experience of coming into the music business. And if you check their records, you'll find that both of them had music out before they became popular. And nobody was listening to those music. But as soon as the music got racha,
Mm-hmm.
they took off. And
Yeah.
that is where they started to indulge in more raw music than what they really believe in.
Right, but was
And-
just trying to
and
make money.
everything took a downward to make money because that is where the money was flowing. So that is where music started to go downward,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then On top of that, I don't know which government was in, and I really don't care. But the fact that you open up the airways to allow people to sing any foolishness and allow bad words and certain things, it was enough to let everybody go wild.
Yeah.
But they're not played. To be honest, they're not played on the airwaves. They are played in the bars and parties and so forth. But
and
they're
and, and of
censored
course in the taxis,
in the taxes. Oh
and
yes,
buses that carries
yes.
these young people, and that's part of
And
the reason why
again,
I was so much, or why I am so much for the bus system. Though it takes the kids
yes,
away from these
correct. The adult,
But let me
explosion.
the
ask you
adult.
this: what's happening with that situation? What was the ultimate resolve to that?
What?
The bus,
To what?
I think they're
Yeah.
running.
They're,
Oh.
of course, the
Running,
bus are. The
but
bus are the most popular thing.
yeah, but the thing is, Jamaica have the one of the biggest problem Jamaica has is that the lawmakers are not making sure that the law keepers keep the law. By law, buses should not have music playing in it. By law, they're
Yeah,
not allowed to. Usually the police can or transport authority can take them off the road for having these music. The buses. They're not supposed to, but they will implement it this minute and just give them 2 months time. They're back to it. And neither the transport authority, and they're not supposed to have tinted buses.
well,
Right. Because
the prime minister said in a Facebook post that come next year, they're going to they will be paying more attention to stuff like those. Even the man peeing at the roadside will be getting a ticket
it's
and
been
other.
done before. It's been
And
going on since
and
my time, right?
and I think
It's
what
been going
happened.
on since my time, but as I said before, it's not that these laws are not on the books. Come
They
on
are.
now. A
But listen,
policeman is arresting you and cursing bad word at you. It's against the law to curse bad word. Period.
but
Okay?
listen to this. But listen to
So
this.
if we are not keeping these people accountable, nothing will happen.
But hold on a second. You have to look at the root cause of it. Why were they not demonstrating the law? Remember, we didn't have enough police officers. Remember, we used to have the blue bags. What we used to call them again? Blue bags?
The special constable.
Special constable.
Hmm.
And
The
those are
blue
not
stripe,
police.
Yeah,
Blue stripe. Those, the red stripe was
Island Special Constabulary Force.
yeah, yeah.
right. So those were like the keeper on the road and they walk around and patrol. And when the country goes belly up, not having enough money, they some of them get rid of them or some of them convert them to police officer, real police officer, right? But remember our police officer, before this government took over, I think it was like 6,000 or 7,000. Now it's like 14 or 15,000. So because
And
they're
they're still
having
short.
right, but
That's
what
so
I'm
true.
saying, and they're recruiting more, but because they're now having more money to pay them and pay them even better, you will now have more police officers who can now, it road police officer, street police officer, you name it. You can
Um,
have different level of police officer that will carry out these laws and regulations.
no. The amount that we have is worth nothing if they're not going to do their jobs. You can have them out there, but if the soup is corrupt and everybody else around you is corrupt, it's not gonna happen.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The more police officer you have who have a speciality or person, like we have tourist cops in Montego Bay on Bottom Road. I've
I
seen
know.
we call them the tourist cops. What I'm saying, so you have those people who are specifically for that area who make sure tourists are not being harassed or
Harassed.
Hmm.
sold drugs and so forth. What I'm saying to you also, definitely corruption, and this is why the corruption must go down in order. So that is part of the whole fix of everything. With them getting better money, with them getting a better place to and work environment, with them getting their uniform and make sure things and they can see a life from themselves in it, you will find that corruption is going down with them. Because remember, first time The police them is so beggy. Nowadays, you still have some, but it's not as bad as before because now they're getting their overtime money, they're getting their uniform allowance, they're getting their housing allowance, they're getting more stuff and more pay.
They get free uniform. I grew up in a police home, and the person I grew up with was up by Twickenham Park. So I basically understand some of what you're saying, but I don't think this razor pay is gonna make much difference when people just want what they want. You see how much cops they've caught in corruption. I remember one year, although it was not recently. One year somewhere in Montego Bay, there was a traffic stop, and the traffic stop going on and going on until another officer drove up and he said to himself, "I don't know anything about this traffic stop." Because usually, if there's any traffic stop going on, he would know about it. When you take a stop, police was pulling over cars, confiscating people's cars, putting them on trucks, driving them off to go and scrap them. Between police and thief were working together.
Right.
Yeah,
And
but
that's what I'm
look at
saying.
this though. All things. Remember though, the police has been doing their work now. What is the motivation for them to be working now than ever? That's that
Better pay.
they had make
Yeah,
a
the
big shift, you know.
incentives help
They
them.
they they
They
they're
have.
making a big shift. So the PA is one of the things that help them to
Mhm.
motivate them to know that the work their job now become more of value to them. It's just not a change in their pocket. They are able to do things with more pay. So then that would
Your
have taught them,
pension.
yeah. And they have, yeah.
Your
There
pension.
has been
Yeah.
a
I
lot of things. I
understand
think they're
also
more
what she's saying,
motivated
that
now.
it's a
Their
mentality,
pension is not
but
too bad, you know. Their pension is not too bad, to tell you the truth.
But now it's
Pension is
better. That's what I'm saying. And
not
not only
too
that,
bad.
when last you've heard that a police officer riding the local bus was unalive? When last you've heard of that?
No.
That's a rare case. That has
Pardon me?
always been a rare case.
No, it's
That
never.
has always been a
No,
rare case.
no, it was never. You have more
And
police.
just remember that some of the crimes that you see in Jamaica are not random.
No, no,
You
no.
don't see smoke without fire.
No. Sometimes they are traveling on a public passenger because they couldn't afford a car. That's the whole point I'm saying. They couldn't afford a car. They take the bus, and then man, see them or man on the bus with whatever and unalive them. You hardly have that anymore because now they can afford to get their own cars. They can afford. There is no easier way to own a home. So that's what I'm saying. The moral is being lifted. Their work areas, they have washing machine me here and dryer and gym and microwave and kitchen. The environment is much more better. So you will still find some corruption, and you can never get rid of corruption. What a country needs to do is to control it to a level. You
Yeah.
can never ever get rid of corruption, and you always, because we had a couple of years ago, we had an officer here, in the city where I live, and he was when he arrested the guys them for cocaine, he'd go turn around and steal it from the police station and stole it. He had a used mansion. He had a used mansion in one of those
Several of
nice
them
community. No, just a
several of them
second.
have
Just a second.
several
So
of them have.
he had a used mansion and he didn't realize they were investigating him because they're saying that with your income and a mansion, if you pay it off, number one, how did you pay it off? When he
Mhm.
realized that they were on him, you know what he did one day? Say goodbye to his wife and kids and just walk onto the trains, the railway track. And that was it.
Wow.
Just
What are you
walk right in
talking
front
in?
of it. Because they caught him. They were on him and he found out about it. So that's what I'm
Yeah, and
saying, that
it's hard
even
for a policeman to go to prison because they're gonna beat him.
right, but even though I'm saying, even in these developed countries that are, you still have a level of corruption, but it's just that it is controlled in a sense. In
Mhm.
Jamaica, that's what we're hoping for now.
Yeah, that's
raise the moral of the police force, you have better income and so forth. And with that, you hope that, it will, encourage them to do better.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying. I do.
I think to be honest, I think they're moving in a better direction
Mhm.
right now, and
And you
the
can see
hopes are
that in,
high.
yes, you can see that in this, and as a matter of fact, not only that too, one of the things that you as the what's it, Kevin, what's his name, the commissioner of police, you have to know how to
Mm-hmm.
back your mentor. You have to defend them because they want to feel that when they go out there and they're being attacked,
Right.
my boss is behind my back. And nothing wrong, but defend them to say, because when people were coming out to say that they're unalive in the youths and the youth are this and the youth, he came out with the statistic and show to say, no, this is not just a random case that we just go to somebody's house and unalive them. We have information that target this particular person. And if you gonna come out and approach the police, or the police know that you're armed and dangerous, you think they're gonna go in with some pepper spray? So he defend them also. And that will give them a boost to say, yes, I have somebody who stood up for me, not only throw me out.
Yeah. That plays a significant role also. There's quite a few things that contribute to the police doing their work, and there's no question. I know at the end of this year, which is tomorrow, I don't think people will have any question about the effectiveness of the police role, because we were watching until the end of the year to see how much unaliving we would have had, and so
I think
we'll
it's how
see.
much is it? 646 or 666?
What?
I think it's 6 million. Yeah.
Coming from
The
1600? Yeah.
yeah.
So
So far.
I mean, I honestly, people talking about innocent people being taken out by the police. I'm not gonna say it's not true, but I don't think that's the majority of the case. I don't think that's the majority of the case. There,
There it is.
the low
Yeah.
number of unaliving speaks by criminals speaks volume to the
So
effectiveness of the police.
up to December 27, drum roll, 666 on our live. Up to December 27.
Wow, under
Up to
700.
December, under 700. This is 476 fewer than 1142 recorded in last year. Meanwhile, cases of shooting declined by 211, moving from 1103 in 2024 to 692 in 2025. The force also reporting a decline in grape,
Hmm.
down by 123 from 435 to 312 for this year. Robberies increase, moving by 50 from 634 to 684. Breaking also rose from 913 to 1,068. Overall, major crime declined by 705 cases, representing a 17.1 reduction when compared to last year. Again,
So that means to me that scamming is down, so robbery is up.
Possibly, possibly.
Yeah, cause when scamming was high, you didn't have much robbery.
Right, 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 right. That's where they used to get their illegal money from. But I
so,
honestly think that we need to apply to somebody. I
but
mean,
but
for this,
but you know what?
somebody is
It's good.
responsible
It's
for
good
this
though
protection.
that something is down because boy, and having more people on the police force, that mean you have more manpower instead
Exactly.
of what we need now is we need more vehicles to deal with it. Need no more transportation.
But they do have a lot. They do are well stocked,
They
my
need
dear.
more. They need more. They need more.
They are
They
well
need more.
stocked because now
They
also,
need more.
I'm not saying that, but they're based on where we're coming from, they're not short anymore. Based on where we're
When
coming
you
from.
live in
Remember,
certain places, when you call the police and you're not getting you're not
what
getting the response you need, then you
what
understand.
I think that we need to do also that will help the police is the informal communities them and the roads them. They don't have the road network. By the time the police vehicle to get over there, then dropping at the pothole, they risk because they're not road of such. So
Mhm.
that will also help in terms of fixing up. And that's why you see they have a spark program now to fix all of those main roads and the community roads them because that was another hindrance to the police officer getting to victims in time when people call and says, so and so by time sometime they not have no vehicle or sometime the vehicle anyway people if vehicle brought down.
I have a problem. I have a problem though.
Are they come now and are they don't come at all,
I have a
even
problem.
if they have a vehicle?
Our concern. Let me say this is a concern I have. Jamaica natural resource had been vastly diminished. Bauxite, and banana, and many other things that we would have had, and
Coconuts,
sugar. A lot of things had gone.
mangoes.
Where is the money coming from to fund all these things that the government is funding?
Okay, so talking about backside, it's not that our backside was depleted. It's because of the market. Remember, we used to use our backside. We used to have make Dutch pot, frying pan, everything. Wash pan. Remember with the advent of plastic from China, the plastic bathtub, the plastic this, it cuts out the need for those things, right?
Mhm.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the government is looking to reinvest in bauxite again. And I'm hearing that they're hoping to build a smelting plant. Because first time when they took the raw ore from the ground, they would take it to Germany,
Barbara.
have a small smelting plant to convert it to aluminum. Now the
Mm.
government is looking at doing that in the country. All right. For the coconut, our coconut plantation was destroyed. I think it was during if I'm not mistaken, is either
Gilbert
Reagan.
was one,
No,
and
not
disease
no,
was one. Disease
no,
was one.
no, no. That's what I'm gonna tell you about. It wasn't disease. Gilbert didn't finish our coconut. It either happened under the Reagan or was it Bill Clinton? What we were told, right? Remember back in the days, it was a war on marijuana in
Uh-huh.
Jamaica. The disguise came. The disguise came under to say that how they were going to eradicate the ganja plantations in Jamaica. Most of the western part of the island, Westmoreland, Hanover, and Portland, and those places, they have a lot of, especially Westmoreland and Hanover, the western part. Marijuana grow well in that area because of the stream and the rivers and the lush side.
Yeah.
So we were told, if you notice back then, you see some plane coming in and flying, and we were told that they were spraying mealy bugs. Remember mealy bugs?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what we were told. No, it wasn't the mealy bugs they were spraying. They were trying to spray the ganja fields that were in the mountains. Now, when they spray the ganja field, the pesticide or whatever they were using kill. If you notice, when you go down to Hanover, Lucy, all along the sea course, you see the structure of the coconut trees, tall, and the
Trelawney too.
head
Trelawney.
and Trelawney and the heads are gone because
That was
that's
before
where
Clinton time.
that's why I said I think it was Reagan or Bush, the father Bush, either Reagan or father Bush. So
Reagan
it
time.
starts. So that's how the pesticide or the substance that they were using to spray the ganja kill off our coconut plantation. kill them.
It
And
never
until
killed the
this
ganja.
day,
Is
yeah,
it
it did. It
is
did
it
to
the
some
same thing that affect the orange? Because we had lost orange as well.
exactly, exactly. If you notice, because even in my grandfather farm in Westmoreland, oranges, oh my God,
We don't have orange
orange
anymore.
anymore. And
The
that's what they were
oranges ended up
using.
in St. Catherine.
And it then they feed to us that it was mealy bugs they were spraying for. It was not. It was the marijuana plantation. So that's what killed out our coconut plantation. Now we move on to our banana and sugarcane. Again, because of Jamaica did not adapt to changes, it was still the back burning of the cane and cutting the cane. The young people never want to do that because we never invest in the technology to make it easier for our farmers to do it and to encourage people to go and farm sugarcane because of the burning and the cut, the bend back to cut the
I
cane
remember
and
that.
do
Yeah.
this. It turns off people. So that dies out. And then we have the processed sugar, the white sugar that came in and just hit us off the market. Our banana, of course, our banana plantation is susceptible to weather, to climate change. Remember from Hurricane Gilbert wipe out the banana. They haven't come back again. And all of those things factor
So
in.
any of those can be restored for if what you're saying is true, right? They're no longer spraying them. So can we restore those? Are in there? Do you heard of any plans in restoring those?
What you mean, like
Uh,
Restoring what?
especially like it's for
the
people,
coconut.
but people are not cutting down the mountainside to go and build houses and plant this and make roads. And this is what is causing some of the climate climate change we have in the country. This is why we are having such vicious flooding, because instead of we don't have the watershed anymore. Remember that the watershed that is used to hold on the water, they are now being cut into those areas to build roads and to develop the country. Those are the sacrifice we made. And of course, the depletion of the ozone layer. And we are closer to the equator. So because that is what I was told in school, primary school, that
Mhm.
Jamaica is one of those countries that is close, and that's why we're so hot. So with the depletion of the ozone layer, which protects us from the sun, you have the sun getting more intensified and more likely. And you see, we now having forest fires. And you see, we have these dry spell and these wet spell. So with climate change, it's going to be hard. And this is why you see now, I think the government is trying to now to do a multifacet of the economy instead of depending on the regular banana, sugar, and so forth. One of the things that I think they're trying to do is, and by the way, I just read this evening that Trinidad and Tobago is looking for a partner to start up their oil refinery again.
What?
So they're looking for international partner to start up their oil refinery. Yes.
So that means that Jamaica going to stop giving them oil, no?
They might start, well, if they start up their refinery, because what Jamaica was planning to do, and I hope they get a contract from Guyana when it is settled down. What Jamaica is doing right now is to take their crude, buy it from them, and then convert it and sell it back to them. Just like how we used to take the raw material to Germany, they process it and sell it back to us at a higher price. That is what they're doing. And also, I heard that the government was thinking of using it, if they haven't started as yet, using the byproduct from that to tar the road, to make the roadway and so forth, which would be a lot cheaper than what we are doing right now. So those are some of the
Byproduct
stuff
from what?
from the product from the crude
So
that they process.
we wouldn't be taking tar from Trinidad anymore?
No, we would be using that material, that the products, that the waste from the crude to make to do our road, which they said is much better and much better than tar and so forth. It will be more likely better for our road. They said to use that. Also, the government has find a way also, and they're doing a lot of internal borrowing and internal, like selling the shares to the Jamaican people, which they did with the highways. when they had the highway selling shares to the local people. Excellent idea for the people to own the to own shares in the in the companies them, especially the highways. They also use the airport. They use the Norman Manley Airport as what they call future. And future is a financial instrument where the the future income of the company, they look at to see how much they're gonna make, and then they sell it like some of it they
As
take to
shares.
international, no, not shares, international investors, and they buy into these papers. They call them futures, and they might take around maybe 10 years, 5 years,
Similar
depend.
to shares.
Mhm.
Right. But they don't own it. It's not shares because it's just papers. It's
I understand. I'm just
right.
saying it's similar to shares.
All right.
Well,
So
it's not
Futures
because
are.
no, it's not. It's not similar because shares you own shares in the company. This is like an instrument where you lend me the money and you hold on to this piece of paper and you get this amount of interest on it. And just like a bond then.
All right. So the bond then. Let me say
Right.
bond.
Just like a bond, exactly. So they're doing that. And by the way, also people might say that, well, the airports are owned by the Chinese and the port. That is not true. That is absolutely wrong. They have a long-term concessionary lease agreement with them. That is what they have. They're
and
not sold to the
and that's
Chinese.
what I was gonna ask about the road to it. Don't they say that the way Jamaican did not own the road, uh, it's a 50-year deal that they work out. If that is
I
true,
don't know. I
how could
thought
they
it
be
was
selling shares
no,
in the road?
In the
no, not all of
beginning,
them. It's not all of
in the
them. It's
beginning, they started
yeah.
something like
One of
that.
them is Highway 2000 that they have.
It's on the south
Yes,
coast, which
one of
is
them. I think
not
it was Highway
Chinese.
2000. If I'm not
The
mistaken, it was
first one
Highway.
is not Chinese. It was the French government.
But
French that
anyhow,
started that.
but put it this way, you borrow money to fix up the place. Of course, so what's wrong with that? That's what America and your country does. You know, our
And that's
people
why
are
the toll
so
is paid to pay the bill.
exactly. Our people are
I
so
personally
unfair.
don't have a problem with it. I don't even have a problem with the Chinese in Jamaica. Number one, they
I
were
don't.
always there, and what they came
Exactly.
with, the infrastructure and all that they came with, that we would got our benefit from, we
No
would
one
be
has ever offered
way
that.
behind today if it wasn't for the
But not
Chinese.
only that. But listen to this. We gained independence from 1962, right? That's when we gained independence. We have been with IMF, the USA, the World Bank. How many of them has helped
Never
to
get
build
any of
Jamaica?
this.
How many of
None
them
of
have
them.
ever built? None of them. None
Mm-mm.
of them.
The IMF only put rope around our neck.
It's not a
Give us
matter of
all
putting a
sort of
no, it's not a
stipulations
matter.
before you can get the
But you're
money.
right. But
That
you're
that is
right.
of no help to
No,
us.
no. But hold on, my dear. You have to look at the man to say, man, lend you the money. And because you're not disciplined, you have to go back. Because when him said to you, say, all right, you what you gonna do with the money? You say, boy, I'm gonna fix the road. I'm gonna do this and do that. Him say, fine, here is $10 million. Lo and behold, you know, fix the road, the money done, and you can't have investment to pay it back. You go back to the man again. You go back to the man again. The man gonna say, all right, not gonna help you out again this time. But
But
guess
this is
what?
what you have to do in order to get it.
Ah,
That's all it is.
exactly. So him said to you, say, by the way, you're gonna come back, they're gonna help you, you know, because I know so you need it, they're gonna help you. But guess what? You're gonna have to cut your security, cut your education, cut your health. The civil servant. So it has nothing to say you blame. I don't blame IMF. I blame the management of the people who get the money managers, the governments who get the money and don't use it
Yeah.
The
to
way
do
it
what
should be
they're
used.
supposed to do, which should exactly,
Which force the IMF in that position to
exactly,
dictate to them.
exactly. And when you hear
That's what
people
it
talking
come
about
down to.
exactly, when you hear people talking about, I hear lots of PNP talking about how the JLP or SIAGA failed the IMF. Well, that is nothing because how you fail the IMF, the IMF will come and say, cut your teachers, your nurses, and your health. They always go for the civil servant because that's all they can
And
control,
you accept it.
right? No, but you said no. You said no. If you said no, then you failed the test. You fail it. They're not because if you're not gonna cut it, they're saying this is what we want you to do. You said, no, I'm not going to do it. They said, well, I can't lend you my money. Because if you do that, how your teacher them going to survive? How your police was going to survive?
Well,
Because then you
still have
walk
to
away
get
from it
funded.
and you have to go somewhere else now to get it at a higher interest rate. And that was what was happening. So I don't blame IMF for Jamaica demise. I blame the country's leaders.
The leadership.
That's
Yeah.
what the leadership.
My question now, yes, I've seen that Jamaica, the hospitals look a little more equipped and stuff. But where's this money coming from to help these hospitals? Because the nurses are leaving. People who have to have surgery have to go buy some of them have to buy their own instruments. They have to buy their own bandages some of the time and those things, which because they declare that okay, free healthcare, which I don't mind free healthcare, but the country cannot manage it. What is going on with this thing?
Not true. It used to be.
What is not true? What
It's
is
not
not
true
true?
to say that you have to now go buy your instrument and you have to buy bandage and you have to buy this. It's much better than before.
Sweetheart, I am a part of a charity, okay, that help cancer patients, and we have to help them to buy needles. So please don't tell me it's not true.
I had a cancer patient over a year ago
Remember,
that told me that I used to have to provide money to buy almost everything for it. That was
right,
last
but
year.
remember, right, but remember the
This is
government.
not past. I'm talking about present.
Can I just explain? Remember, the government now is including, remember, those were not part of the healthcare packages that the government, when the government say free healthcare. So the government now is trying to include some form of cancer into the healthcare coverage, right? So if you can, but it's true, if you can't afford it, right? I'm not saying that it's not, but it's much better. When you talk about band-aid and so forth, that's why I said no, it's not true because all hospitals are equipped with the band-aid and so forth in specialized
When I say
cases.
band-aid, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm just trying to
that's
find the when people going to go to surgery, they ask them to buy certain things that really a hospital should have and provide.
but
And
if it's
then
if
if
it but if it's
anything you pay for it, you have to go out and buy it.
well, they prefer for you
Come
to
on.
buy than for them to be getting back the money from you. But anyhow, we know we have
No, you
problem.
said free health care. It should be free.
What? What should be free?
You go to the hospital, it's a free health care. Was the free health care just partial to some things? You're going to have surgery. These things should be provided at the hospital.
But that's what I'm saying. That when you go there for the regular surgery, right now the government is giving you, if you have to do a major surgery, they'll give you up to $1 million. Up to 1 million, depending on the surgery, you can get up to $1 million to help with it. Right? The healthcare system, they are working on it. There are more hospitals now being built. They have more clinics are now being built. They have clinics that are opening later than before. And remember, it was the same doctors, nurses, and the medical practitioners, them who were also stealing the supplies. We have to take that
I
into
understand.
consideration.
So, question now: why is it that a hospital like St. Anne's Bay Hospital don't have a CAT scan or MRI machine
Okay,
for
so
free health care?
no, hold on a
If
second. If
are
they
you
don't,
saying if?
can I just let me
I
explain?
said they don't.
Can I just explain to
No,
you, ma'am? I
go
didn't say
ahead.
anything. Can I just explain? So yes, some of the hospitals are not equipped with all of the necessary CAT scanner, CCAT scanner, or MRI, and whatever. But what the government said that if you have to do those, that is if you are a patient with the government. A private is different. If you are a patient with the government at the hospital, you can get a referral to go to a private clinic, do your MRI or do your CCAT scan, and they will bill the government for it.
What lots of the doctors are telling the patient them, it'll take too long. But if I give you this one to go over there, so you pay for it, you will get it back immediately. But the government that have that now in place, where if they don't offer, if they don't have it at the hospital or the clinics, and you're supposed to do it as a government patient, and they're supposed to give you a referral to go to a private place to do it, and they bill the government. You get a referral from your doctor, and they will bill the government for that.
I think what she's saying though, it's
In
that it's
August,
a hospital should have
in-
certain base.
Correct, but correct.
machines.
We agree, and that's why they're fixing up the hospital them now. They are fixing them up them.
in August,
As a matter of fact, at the chest they have, how much did they bring? I'll look and tell you. But go ahead.
in August, my uncle had a stroke and he went to St. Anne's Bay Hospital. He walked into the hospital and they had him there. You know that once you have a stroke, they want to do either a CAT scan or an MRI to see if there's bleeding on the brain. And as you said, they said we have to go to a facility in Drax Hall. Now we had to call that place, and we had to pay that money first. And then we had to take the receipt all the way to the hospital to get it done, to give it to the doctor to show that we paid the bill. And then they would find the porters and all of that. He didn't make it between Sunday to Wednesday. He did not make it.
And I'm sorry
We
to hear
paid.
that. We are sorry to hear that.
Paid.
But do you know that I live in Canada, and we would go down they stop it now because it was costing the country too much. But certain things we were able to go down to the States and do, and we would pay for it, and then they'll refund us in Canada.
No doctor told us that the government would pay for it.
Exactly.
If the government would pay for it, why didn't the doctor say,
Because
ambulance? Let me finish. Why didn't the doctor say, take him in the ambulance and take him down to the facility right away, so he could get a quick CAT scan, and then and if they know that the government would pay for it? What is going on?
Because some
Some people have
doctors,
the information and some don't.
no, they have it. They have it. What is happening? And Dr. Tufton spoke about it before. Some of these doctors are invested in these private facilities that offer those services. Right? They don't tell
Well,
the
that's
patient.
corruption, sort of.
They don't. They
even
don't.
That's a big time
invested.
conflict, though. That's a big conflict.
And it is, and he's trying
Even
to get
if-
rid of it. Hold on. They don't tell.
Marcel?
Just let me finish, ma'am. They don't tell the patient these things. And I said it before. I said what they'll tell them. If you go, and some of them will say to you, I can refer you to to another institution through the government, and it will take you a week to get back the result. But if you go down there and pay your money, I can get it back to you in 24 or 48 hours. You who is desperate, gonna take that shot. Gonna take it.
No, but that doctor could have said, that doctor could have asked us right away, do you have the funds? And we say yes. Take take us the relative, take the patient at the same time, and go down there. We pay instantly and get it done instantly. They did not care.
But that's the
They wait
doctor.
a space of time.
But that's not the
I am
government.
gonna-
That is the doctor.
That's what
But
I'm
there's
saying.
but what is the policy? There's no who's
I'm saying
guardrailing these doctors? Why they can have this conflict of interest and cost someone their life?
at
Like,
this rate,
who's
at this
manning
time,
them?
I am thinking of suing, because he even went into a coma and nobody saw it. He went into a coma and nobody saw it. I sent somebody down there to collect his car, right? And she went in and she took the key from his bag and was trying to wake him up, and he would not wake up. So she went to the nurse and she said to the nurse, "Nurse, tell Mr. So and so that I have the keys." And the nurse said, "Oh, we didn't know that he had had keys in his bag. I can't let you have the keys," which she was correct. So the nurse took the key from her. They don't know realize between that time that this man was in a coma because he doesn't sleep deep. And the mere fact that this lady was calling him, she touched his leg and he didn't wake up, means he was in a coma from Tuesday and it's Wednesday morning. Them called to say the man is dead. And that was way from Tuesday morning.
But again,
Waiting on a CAT scan.
I had one of my cousin who died 2 years ago from childbirth also. So we suffer, and it's not, and I'm not making excuse. We just had a patient in Canada, gentleman in his early 40s, who waited 30 hours in emergency. 30 hours. You know, they just seen it on the news, and he died in Canada. In Canada, one of the most developed country,
Yeah.
if it's not the fifth
I
country
don't
in
want
the
to make the
world.
comparison, irrespective of where this is
No, no.
happening.
No, I am just saying, ma'am, these are things. It's not the government you blame for this. You blame the doctor who's supposed to know better.
No, but guess what? If the government had some rules, some guardrails around these doctors working in these hospitals to ensure that patients' lives are their utmost priority, rather than the business they have at the clinic over so and so. That is the point, the basic point here.
No, it is the same over
Because
here.
doctors and
Well, it shouldn't be
nurses
that
in
way anyway.
Jamaica.
Why are you making excuses for our limitations? Why are you doing that?
But
It's
why can't I
irritating.
give you a second side to the story also? You are giving one side, I'm giving a different side. I don't have to agree with what you're saying. That's all. We're here
Doctors
talking
I'm not
and
asking
nurses.
you to agree, but I'm asking you to look at the bigger picture. That's
But
all.
they're both big pictures. I am saying this is where the nurses and the
Not because
doctors
it's
are at
happening
fault.
someplace else
And
makes
this is
it
where
okay.
no,
That's my
but I'm just
point.
showing you this is where the nurses and the doctors are at fault, and you sue accordingly. You sue accordingly. You can't blame
you
the
see,
government for that.
But this keeps
what we are
happening.
saying,
What
Marcia,
going forward?
But it
What
happens
measures will be
everywhere.
taken so it doesn't
It
happen?
unfortunate,
Marcia,
but you cannot. You cannot. Nowhere
Marcia,
in
What do
the
you
world.
mean you can?
You can't. But anywhere in the, it
Marcia,
happens in your country. It happens anywhere. It happens in
Marcia,
my country. It happens in poor.
Marcia, what we're saying is if the government was more stringent on how the doctors and nurses perform on a
No,
day-to-day
it's not the
basis,
government that does that,
they
ma'am. It's the
let
nurses
me
that.
finish. Let me finish. If they were more stringent on the way they perform on a daily basis, they would not be so nonchalant with the way they treat patients. Years ago, I took my daughter to Cornwall Hospital. She's a sickler, right? And they have a sickle cell clinic that they're supposed to go to. The nurse tested my daughter, took her temperature. Her fever was 105. And everybody knows that once there's a fever of 105, you're going close to a child who can end up with as a vegetable. Now she said that the doctor will soon come. A doctor came, went into a room, they called one patient, and then the doctor left. And the nurse just sat there. I said, "Nurse, what happened? A doctor just came. What happened?" That's not the doctor you're going to see. I said, "But my daughter has 105 fever. You're not giving her anything, and you just let a doctor walk away." I had to leave that hospital, go to the private hospital next door, and get something for her from the pharmacy that was there, and then come back and wait again for the next doc for the for
So
the next
do you
doctor to come.
think that is the government's fault? I'm just asking.
I'm saying if they were more stringent in the way nurses and doctors operate, like as soon as they do something wrong, there is somebody in their neck.
To
somebody
me,
can sue them.
But
to
but
me,
Somebody
it's a
can
cultural
say
issue
something
because
and do
it's
something.
a similar
It is
attitude
a
in all.
cultural issue.
It is a cultural
It
issue
is
because
a cultural
it is
issue.
a similar
But
behavior in almost any institution in Jamaica. The tax office is the same behavior. You go to the
yeah,
pharmacy is the same behavior. You go to the
yeah,
anywhere you go. So it
yeah.
is a
let me ask
cultural
But
it is a cultural issue.
but
let me ask this
I
question.
understand that.
Let me
But
ask
it
this
will be less
question.
cultural if, okay, look at some of the private institutions, right? If persons behave a certain way in some companies, or even yours, Mr. Sutherland, treat people a certain way, and you get on them neck, and they know they can lose their job in a minute, right? And some of these nurses know that we're short of nurses, so they're not going to get rid of them. They know that we're short of doctors, so they're not going to get rid of them. So they're nonchalant with their behavior. Women having babies on their own when a nurse should be helping them, and all those crap. Baby a drop on floor. You calling nurse, nurse now pay you no mind. Me have a C-section and nurse go and look for me and say, um, mother, you need to feed your baby, instead of helping me to get off the bed to go pick up the baby or bringing the baby a little closer.
Yeah, there's no
You know,
consequence for those
everybody is just
behavior.
nonchalant.
Can I ask a
But if
question?
somebody is strict with their rules and their regulation, it will help to boost things, is what I'm saying.
Right, right. I sort of agree with that. Go ahead, Marcel, with your question.
Um, how many of these cases of malpractices by the nurses, or doctors or whoever it is are being reported? Number
Way
one,
too often.
and number two,
Because nothing is
can I
being done
can
about
I
it when it's being reported.
can I speak? How many of these cases are being reported when a doctor or a nurses or some malpractices or so forth? Okay. Number two, these doctors and nurses and those medical, especially doctors and nurses, they have a body that is governed by. How many of them are being reported to these institutions? Right? We say these things that these things are happening, but how many reports are being made? How many reports are
So
being made?
they're being
But
reported, but if
uh,
nobody is doing anything about
No,
it,
they do. They
it's
do.
not
They
making
do.
any difference.
They do.
Oh,
Also,
you're
when people
saying
know
they
that
do,
there's
but what
nothing being
difference
done,
is it
they
making?
tend not to report it.
They do. They do.
so all right, let me ask you this then. Uh things. When you were treated that way in the hospital while you were there, did you report it to somebody? I mean, the time when
I
when
was
you have
there.
the C-section and you should have been assist with feeding your child, and that you have to do it.
I spoke to my doctor because I was there as a it was an emergency C-section. And so I went there I ended up at KPH because I was
Wow.
going to have the baby at my doctor has his own facility, right? But because the baby wouldn't come out and my cervix got swollen, I was rushed off to KPH at the time, to Jubilee, sorry, at the time. And so I was there as a private patient. So although it's a big ward, you're still separated from other people. And even one doctor tried to face it with me too, on top of that. And I told my doctor, because I think he was the head of the department at the time. And I told him I don't know what he did about it, because after I left, I really didn't care. Luckily, my mom is a nurse, so my mom came. She bathed me. She took me to the bathroom and took care of me.
I must say this though. I hear what you're saying, and I think that in Jamaica, as it relates to customer service and how people treat people in certain institutions, I don't think enough action or there's any consequences for those behaviors are
And
That's
enough.
what I'm talking
And
about.
I see it. Let me tell you one other thing that I noticed here in Chicago. Um, there is two institutions that I had to deal with over the years, and those people's rude, just like those people that I'm talking about in Jamaica. And so a couple of reports were made, and what they did was to put up a hotline number, paste it all over the place. If you've been treated a certain way in this institution, call this number. Would you believe me? It was almost a cultural thing within those institutions to mistreat people. Would you believe me that that changed the whole dynamics of the institution? You that mean lady that you used to a couple of years ago. Now she's dealing with you with more respect. So I am saying until we started to hold nurses and doctors and these people at the tax office, the ones at the pharmacy, since until we start lay down some consequences for this behavior, things will never change. I don't think these people
That's
are
what I'm
facing
saying.
any consequences for their action. The police, in some cases, I went to the police station um, to conduct official business in Jamaica, and I'm not bashing Jamaica. I'm just being real. Um, and when I went there, I make an appointment with the police officer that I am gonna meet up with, and so he told me he was on his way. I went there and I was standing at the station waiting. And while I was waiting, for no reason, a policeman came at me, judge who he think I am, and said, big man, move from there, sir. You can't stand there, sir. So I'm like, am I in anybody's way? Big man, me said to yourself, you have to move from there, sir. I said, boss, am I in your way or anybody's way? But then I only talking. I said, do you know how you get paid? I said, do you know how you get paid? Right? I am here on official business, and I have an appointment and I'm waiting for the person, and I'm not obstructing anybody. I'm not moving from where I'm standing. You know what he said? I because I have no money, that's how I deal with people. So not realizing because he have his authority and his power, why he was trying to treat me the same way.
And
So
then he realized that you have power, so he changed him out.
in change him out. So I am just saying to you that we need to work a little bit more on that and hold people in these places or institutions, customer service, um uh hold them responsible for their behavior. I don't think enough attention is being paid in those areas, right?
I
And so
definitely
that's why
agree.
we have repeat
Right.
Cor-
Offense.
Correct,
offense.
because
Offense.
number one,
Pika is one of the
Jamaica.
best places. If Pika has been reformed over the years, and I see where you get good service there. If they can do it, other institutions can do it too.
Right. Go ahead, Marcia. You were saying something.
Jamaica, apart from the tourism industry, Jamaica was never known, and it's sad, never known for customer service. Rudest when it comes on. And people tell you, and I'll tell you too,
Thank you
rudest
for
people
that.
them,
Thank you for that.
rudest people them,
Yes.
rudest people when it comes on. There was no emphasis on customer service. Like I said, apart from the tourism, even the banks, you go there, it's like you're begging them to serve you.
Terrible.
You are begging them. Terrible. Of course, I agree.
Okay.
No two ways about it. And we need 100% turnaround from that. We need nurses. And that's what I'm saying. When you have a bad experience at, now they have a customer care center. When you have a bad experience at a hospital, if you don't report it, and some of these cases, we just get upset and cuss and just carry on. We report
Right.
it. They now have a customer care center where they have the numbers in the lobby and tell you who to call and who to this and who to that. I don't know how effective they are, but those are some of the improvement. We as a citizen also have to report it, have to take it. And we do have this attitude to say, sure, it can't be bad, it will take too long, nothing now come out of it. And we move on and it continues and continues. I've never made excuse for bad customer service because I've received it already. That made it have to tell the girl in a mobile we work at Captain Bakery. Mr. My dear, let me tell you something. You are a side chick in this place. You are a side chick. You are no wife. If you're sleeping with your boss, if you're sleeping, and I don't want to say the word that I say, I said, my dear, if you're fucking your boss on here, I said, take it and shut up because you are here as a cashier, not as a wife. If you were a wife, you wouldn't be sitting in this damn miserable place. And the security came and asked me what happened. And I said, she's rude. I came here to buy some bread and I explained to her that I asked her if she have any bullas. And she said, no. I said, when you're going to get the bulla? Miss, me no know. So me said, but ma'am, just ask them in the back if you don't know, you know. Miss, Mr. Me no know. Me said, okay, sell me the bread. I purchased the bread and that's when I lay into her. I said, you're a side chicken and no wife. So if your boss said, fuck you, please take it and be quiet. I'm sorry. And that's what I said.
Remember when
That's what I said to her.
Facebook. Yeah. Yes.
I said,
Yeah.
so that's it, the customer service. I have experienced it. I went to CIBC Bank. I worked at CIBC Bank in Canada before. I went there just to activate a dormant account. Activate over 4 hours. When I asked the cashier, the teller, she said I have to speak to the manager, to the head teller. She said, okay. I said, fine. I said, how long? Give her 15 minutes. I said, fine. I sat there for almost 2 hours. You know what that damn girl did? Went on lunch, shot, and then came back. Before, and even after she came back, and when she saw me, I said, let me tell you something. I said, you work with CIBC here. I work in CIBC in Canada. I said, if they know of your service. I said, how dare you, as a head teller, let me sit here waiting for 3 hours. I said, where's the customer service? I said, you don't do that. You don't do that at all. I said, if you're going to go for break, you said to the customer, you know what? I'm going to be away for an hour or two. Can you come back? Or can you schedule? But you have me sitting here waiting.
Somebody else.
I said, you're damn rude. You are rude.
So is
just coming to me. I said, don't talk to me. So I've experienced it and I talk out. I speak about it.
The administrative are the administrative department for these institutions are responsible for these behaviors. It's not the government. It's not the government.
That's the point I'm making. Exactly. It's not the government. That's the whole point I'm saying that it is the administration.
Not in a public hospital.
Yes,
No,
there is that.
I'm talking about as a public hospital. The Ministry of Health is in charge of them.
There is there is an administrative section to the hospital that deals with things like that. That deals with it, and those are where they put the complaints.
The problem
and
with
you're
that,
hoping that it will work.
The problem with that, they are responsible for these complaints and should take action. What happened is that enough people are not complaining, one, and two, the few that complain, they're not taking any action. We need to stand up and defend that because customer service in Jamaica is extremely poor, and we have to change that.
I think one of the things that will help some of these institutions, if we're talking about administration, they should have independent oversight committees.
I was going to say to you, in North America,
because if everything is internal, this is one of my friend and that the one them my friend and that the one them my friend, it's not going to work when complaints come in. But
what we used to do,
independent of the hospital or independent of the administrative
somebody need to hold.
Something may happen.
What we used to do over here in the bank, what we used to do when I worked there to improve, because they rate these government agencies, even though they're private banks, they're rated, right? And what the bank could do to improve the customer service, they have what is called a mystery shopper. So a mystery shopper is somebody who called the bank, and said they want to get this done and they want to do this. You don't know that this person is a mystery shopper. So they're basing your response based on how you're supposed, and score you accordingly. Right. And if you get below certain amount, when they turn in their thing, number one, the president gonna call the bank manager and says this is what happened, or whoever is in charge of it. Then they're gonna come to you and said, because they're gonna come to you and say you were Mr. Shop.
Right.
You were Mr. Shop, and based on your you know, how you handle the situation, they're going to recommend further training. And if it's not improved, then you know what's going to happen after that. So those are some of the things that they might need. And I totally agree. It can be a conflict where, because I know the personnel in the administration, they said, don't worry about it, miss. It's too damn miserable. I'll take care of it for you. I saw them damn miserable and throw it
And then
aside or
nothing,
whatever.
and then
And then
nothing
nothing being
happens.
done. So definitely it need to be taken away from them. That's when you call. When you call that number, you don't know
Right.
who you're talking to, or they don't know to say that it is a repercussion. And we need
And
to
then again,
fire. We need to
mm-hmm.
fire more of those people.
And
Some of them,
Right.
whether teachers or nurses or whoever, some of them are rude, but it's, when you're unionized too, it is harder. But they need to be disciplined in North America. When they can't fire you, they demote you.
right,
They
right.
Once
demote you.
there's no consequence, there's no reason to behave. And
Correct.
that's the big thing.
Correct.
And number two, because they know that they're short staffed, always short staffed, they feel that they can't lose their jobs. Because
Exactly.
they are in need of them.
Right.
And forgetting that, there are student nurses out there who need their job.
And to be honest with you too, when we talk about the migration of nurses and teachers, it is not as before, because now it is still going on, but now they're getting better paid. Because I remember when the government did the reform or reclassification of the teachers' salary, you had teachers moving away from the private school, now coming into the public because they were getting better pay and better packages than them. So it is improving. There's a lot more.
It has been reduced. The migration of teachers had and nurses has reduced. I don't know
Well,
at
well,
what percentage,
well, to be
but
honest with you, now
mhm.
that, sorry, now that, the man in the orange suit over that side of the world has declassified them to say they're not
Right, the
professional.
nurses.
Said they're not
Okay, so probably that's where it come from too.
what?
The man in
Might
that
not
area.
start yet, but him just start.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
him declassify them to say they're not professionals anymore.
Professionals.
So what happened now is going to make it harder for them to get loans, loan from the bank to finish their education or to further their education, because it would be higher. So when you're professional, I think the rates is a little bit more conducive to you. When you're not, it's more higher. So you're gonna find lots of that. Also, um, because again, because people now are seeing where they're able to purchase a home, especially professional people are more easier to purchase a home now. Some people are thinking of staying home instead, because when they talk about going abroad, remember, you don't go to New York or to Brooklyn or to Manhattan. You go to these remote areas
Right.
most of the time, and going to the remote areas, you have to stay there for what, 5, 10 years before you can break your
Yeah.
contract, or when your contract's done before you can move. So some people are now considering it, because again, the government is giving some excellent packages
Right.
for them.
We have
So,
we have
with
8 minutes.
improvement,
We have 8 minutes before me go on my bed. But
with
I
improvement,
me go on my bed.
with improvement in the healthcare system, and I'm not saying it's perfect, it still need a lot of work,
Yeah.
a lot more
And
need to be done.
education.
Education is part of it. Customer service, definitely,
I want to say, Marcia.
Marcia, what do
Let's before you get to that things. I think I want to say to Marcia that most of our TikTok conversation should circumvent customer service, considering it is such a problem in our country. I think we need to talk a little bit more at that, place more emphasis on, hopefully it get to the right ears and people started to report more and do more follow up, and to ensure that action has been taken
we as
by their
consumer, we as consumer need to get rid of this attitude called, sure, it take too long, we can't be bothered. We need to get rid of that attitude. Sure, it can't be, not now come out of here. We can't be bothered.
Aye. That is
We need to
where,
get rid of
some of the problem lies. Yes, I will agree with that.
Mhm.
Then again, in the tourist sector, if you want to work in the tourist sector, you have to have training from the tourists. I forget the name of it.
Heart.
Um,
You can go to
no,
heart.
it's not heart. No, it's not heart. Not heart. You have to, especially if you want to be a tour guide, anything to do with the tourist section, you have to have this special training, which has to do with customer service,
What special
right?
training? What special training is
I
that?
forget the name of the area. It's tourist something something where in when you finish you get a test, right? So you have to know all the parts of the island and I forget the name of
When
it.
did that started?
Um, for the longest time it's there. They
No,
all have to do
I
it.
I something there. It
They,
must be something
they
new.
all are. It is not something new, ma'am. My daughter had to do it, and all tour bus drivers have to do it.
But that's
They
what
all
I'm
have to
telling you.
take it.
I
It's
it
not
was
new.
just let me
It
explain.
is not new.
I was
So
I was
with
a
with
destination. Hold on. I was a destination rep in Jamaica. I was a tour guide
yeah,
in
but
Jamaica.
it's not new.
I worked as a sales rep. I learned from Blue Daniel Tour. That's where I started out in
Yeah,
tourism.
this is
I spent over 20 years working in there. I learned from them, and that's why I said it
what do
must
you
be
consider
something
as
new.
new?
It must be something new, maybe in the last decade, something fairly new that comes up.
Okay, a lot decade is not new.
Oh,
It's not something new.
10 years.
Um people like I had neighbors who were a part of the initiation of that thing. But for me, for the life of me, I can never remember the name of it. But my daughter went to college and she did an associate degree in hospitality. She also had to do it. And all these people who do tour buses, they have to do it. They have to do the test. When they're done, they can. And I think they're doing it too. Western Union people. Anyhow, with that, I think they could incorporate this same type of training. It only takes a day, between a day or two, it takes for them to do it.
Okay.
And once they do it, take the test and pass. So this is how you find that when you come to the airport, the men speak to you a certain way, they speak to you a certain way at the hotels and so on because they have to take this training, and I think they should integrate it into our companies and our services. They'll have to tweak it because you don't really have to learn about the different tourist destinations and where they are and that kind of stuff. But the customer service that they have to give is so good that I think it should be incorporated in our companies. When I remember the name of it, I will tell you. But
Right.
it's something to do with the
Well, I
tourist
mean,
board.
I think it makes sense that we have something like that in place. We can't just take up anybody off the street and say, okay, you're employed, go out and do this. There's some training. Has to, I think training is required, you know.
No, they train you. They train you because when I train on the Appleton Express. So what happened? I go with another tour rep, and we used to sell the train ride that drives around
Hmm.
back then with the Appleton Express or to Kingston. We used to go to Kingston also, and that train would leave at 5 a.m. in the morning. So as a tour guide, we have to be there.
TPD Co.
Okay, yeah, I heard of it. So we have to be there.
TPD
But
Co. Yeah.
So we have to be there to so they train you at these tour reps, these companies, they do train you. And we used to make a joke to say Blue Danube Tour was the unit the tour training at the university for tour guides because what happened as soon as you train you move up because they don't pay you a lot so the other company would pay you a lot more so you get your training at Blue Danube as soon as you get your training and can do stuff you move on. What happened with the advent of the all-inclusive hotels, they have a host that drives alongside on the bus with the passengers. And that's where again, lots of the tourists now they start to train them to tell them when they're coming up to give them a little bit of the history of the island. When they stop at the rest stop, they tell them you have 10, 15 minutes to do this and do that. So there are lots of in-house training what's going on until maybe tourist board now has a more formal setting where before you
Yeah, so
apply
it's
for
not
it.
left to the companies
Right,
anymore.
right.
They
When
have
you,
to
you
go
get
through
the
PPD
training.
go.
Exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
Well,
Oh, that was
So
my plain ground girl. I worked with Signature Vacation. I was their destination rep. I have a flight
you know
from
Janet Lynch.
Janet Lynch. With what company?
She used to be at El Greco
El Greco?
at one time.
El Greco Hotel?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, my company never, but I worked with
Before
I work with Blue Daniel Tours. I work with First Choice. I work with Adventure Tours. Until when the all inclusive came about and cut out the tour reps then because they said that they will do their own package selling of the. That's another story to talk about. How the reps were because of all inclusive. The rep became obsolete. And so forth.
well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
wrap up. I must
Okay.
personally thank Marcia G for stopping by and always fill us with some needed information. She's not afraid to share her knowledge. Thank you very much, Marcia. All things I always like your input and the questions you
Thank you.
ask. You're very much outspoken. J.R. John, one of my favorite and personal friend. It was indeed a pleasure having you guys with us tonight, and I'm looking forward to chat with you more. So we're going to continue to go out there and get as much information that as we can,
Yes.
and come back and share. But I think the topic of customer service is some
Yes,
of the
need to
things that
explore more.
I think we need to explore it more. And those are some of the things
Mhm.
that we want to talk about because a lot of us fellow brothers and sisters suffers in Jamaica from that, and it is indeed a cultural thing down there. Nobody knows what to do. We left the island and we come out here, we are more exposed and we see action being taken against stuff like that. So then we are more aware of how to deal with stuff like this, because we're living in the States, Canada, wherever, you can report a person and some action take. We want to get back to Jamaica so that we can better serve and treat it like a human being. So we need to explore that more and talk about it a little more. Have a good night, guys. My pleasure hanging with y'all.
Good night, my dear.
Take care.
Jay and all. Thank you.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night. Night.
Good
Rest
night.
well. Bye.
Big up Sutherland TV. You see me? You wanna be me? Then log on to Sutherland TV.